back to my channel, Modest Fashionista. This is Alicia Renee. When I was 10 years old, the name of this video is, what is it like having Bonnet Syndrome? Now let's get into it. When I was 10 years old, my mama was taking me to school. It was a bright sunny morning, and suddenly I started seeing black shapes. They were like black squares, and they would transform into black circles, and they would multiply and multiply and multiply, and when they would multiply, they would take up more and more of my visual space. I thought that I was becoming totally blind. So I tried to get my mama to take me to my eye doctor when we got to school, but unfortunately I had to go to school anyway. It went on the rest of that day. It lasted the rest of the week and for part of the next week. Constant, non-stop. And for many years, I have experienced Bonnet Syndrome, like black shapes, like squares and circles, or like moving lights that are white, blue, and red, or still lights that are still blue, red, and white. This continued until I think it was the year 2020 when I had COVID, and at the end of that year, it was sometime in late November, early December in 2020, I noticed that my Bonnet Syndrome episodes started lasting up to 3 weeks at a time. I was like, is this ever going to end? So finally, I came out of it after a 3-week session of it, and I could see again. I had my vision back. I never had full vision. I'm severely low vision, but at least I wasn't seeing moving or still white, red, and blue lights or black circles and squares. However, since the end of 2020, I have seen this, either the circles and squares or the still or moving lights, every single day. It's not constant, but it's every single day. Thank goodness I have breaks. So I have like parts of the day where I can see objects, and sometimes I can see some color, and I can see bling, where like other parts of the day will just be filled with black shapes, or like a black background with red light, or a black background with red and blue light, or a black background with like red, white, and blue lights, or it will just be full of red, white, and blue lights. The lights, they kind of take the shape of a Christmas tree, but they're not decorated. And there's like a bajillion of them. There's too many to count. And sometimes when they turn white, it's like staring at a spotlight, but without the pain. It is extremely aggravating. I did not hear the word Bonnet Syndrome till I think I was around 21 or 22, when my eye doctor finally told me that some visually impaired people hallucinate through their eyes. Yeah, well, that would have been nice to know when I was 10 years old, when this started. Bonnet Syndrome can be aggravating. For me, it's aggravating. But for some people, it's scary. And for some people, it is even enjoyable. People respond differently because of the different things that they will see. For me, the black shapes and the moving or still colored lights is aggravating. But some people will go on to have more complex hallucinations, like seeing tigers or maybe a giant polar bear. That would be scary. Some people will see multicolored butterflies or roses or tulips or other types of flowers, or even water and landscapes. These, I have heard, are considered peaceful, enjoyable, even interesting. Charles Bonnet Syndrome is a complex disorder that happens when someone is severely visually impaired. However, thankfully, I only have Charles Bonnet Syndrome in one eye. But what makes it so aggravating for me, besides the black shapes and the colored lights, is that I have it in my right eye. And that's the eye that I can see the most out of. That's why I find it so aggravating. I wish that there was a treatment for it, but unfortunately there is no treatment. I know for some people it's enjoyable, so it's a gift for them, so they don't really need a treatment. But for those of us that find it scary or just annoyingly aggravating, there needs to be some way to treat it, or some way to make it happen less often. I wish science could really get on the ball and figure out what to do. Thank you for watching my video. Goodbye.